Hello and welcome to the tavern. As always, we're sponsored by Mad World. Check them out at www.itsworldmadness.com. Go ahead and download their app. And if you're looking for a little crossover merchandise, we've got it going on a Tavern X Mad World hoodie. Catch it on sale while you can. As always, we are powered by StreamYard. So check them out. StreamYard is fantastic. They do all of our, video work, sound work, all that good stuff. So if you're trying to do any kind of live streaming, give them a check out. I highly recommend them. We were using them before they sponsored us, so we always love it. Landino, my best friend, my brother from another mother, my blood packed brother. How are you tonight, sir?
I am doing well. How are you doing, Brandon?
I would like to say I'm doing good, but you have told me there is a surprise tonight. Tonight's episode is not going to be like normal, and when I asked for a rundown, I got yes.
Yes.
That is all I know about tonight's episode.
Well, let's go look at the title, Brandon. We're season 3, episode 25, The Tale of Heroes. What does that even mean?
You tell me.
Well, there is no special guest. I, Landon, will be taking over as host of the podcast for tonight's episode. Brandon had no idea this was happening, and I felt the need to spice it up from the norm.
Okay.
So, welcome, Brandon.
Hello, nice to be on my own show.
Yes, glad to have you tonight. So, I figured that we don't get this to do this enough. We have more people starting to follow us every day,
Yeah.
and so I have some questions here that are for us, and so people can learn about us. So let's get into it.
Okay.
All right. In your own words, how did we meet, and what was your initial impression of me?
Well, my neurodivergent self when I was young loved to draw, but I had this thing where I had to draw on a piece of tracing paper with a mechanical pencil. And because that was my choice of medium, they assumed I traced everything. Well, that was one of those situations where a bully decided, oh, there's no way you drew that, and wanted to bully me for my artwork. And here comes Landon, like, bro, I watched him draw that, get off of him. And, we've been best friends ever since.
So, what was your initial impression of me, though?
One of two things: either this guy's going to be my best friend for the rest of my life, or he's fucking insane. And I guess a little bit of both. There's
It's so funny because my like most of my childhood I wasn't called insane, but everybody like really thought I was crazy. And now I've come to the conclusion that everybody was right. It's like, now that I've found my inner peace and my inner self, like I know I'm crazy. So
You're a Scorpio, of course you're crazy.
yes, and that's just part of it, I guess. And um yeah, like so for me, right? I always knew Brandon was a tracer. No, just
Oh,
kidding.
wow. Ouch.
No, fun fact, Brandon says he used mechanical pencil, and he did not lie. He would not take a number 2 pencil, not even the best of the number 2 pencils, like the black ones with the gold outlines and stuff. Like he would not use those. He had to have mechanical pencils.
Yep.
It is not a joke. And I thought he was kind of weird at first.
I'm
I'm
weird.
just trying to do my own thing, and but the one thing that drew me to Brandon was the fact that he did draw, and he liked Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
and I drew, and I liked Dragon Ball Z, and we were both drawing pretty much the same Dragon Ball Z characters. And so, when this bully came by and was, it wasn't like a one day kind of thing. Like
No.
this had been going on for since the beginning of school almost. I
Yeah.
think after the Scholastic Book Fair.
Fun fact,
When we
um, I had a Dragon Ball Z learn how to draw book, which is what I would use to
yes.
teach me how to draw. And I remember going to, I was like on my way to the bus loop, right? And these three bullies ganged on me and knocked me to the ground and beat the crap out of me and took my Dragon Ball Z drawing book and ripped it up in front of me while kicking me in the ribs. I was like 7. Oh, no, it had to be a little bit older than that because we met when we were like, what, 10?
10, 11.
It was around then. We got
It's
like,
back in 2001, I think. Back
no,
in
way
2000,
earlier.
2001.
way earlier than that because we graduated in '09, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but we were in
Oh
fifth
yeah.
grade in 2001 because that was when the World Trade Centers happened.
You know what? You're right. I guess that was it. God, I'm getting old.
That's how I know when we started our friendship
Yeah.
because of the great tragedy of the World Trade Centers.
Yep. We found each other while the rest of the country was trying to figure itself out and come together.
That's right. Okay, so here's another one. We're gonna spin it off here. Can you tell me a funny or memorable moment from our early days of friendship? What was your really funny, memorable moment when we were young?
When I almost broke your thumb with those kendo sticks.
Oh, I was right in the cul-de-sac of my house too. I still have the scar.
We're fighting with like solid wooden kendo sticks, not even like the bamboo ones that you like would smack each other with, like the solid wooden training sticks. And it hit and slipped down. And when it slipped down the side of the blade, there was no guard to protect his thumb, and pow.
Well, you gotta go further into detail. Like we weren't light sparring. We
No.
were literally trying to kill each other with
Yeah.
these wooden katana.
Like, if we hit each other, it's just gonna hurt. We're not gonna kill each other, but that would have been a killing blow. We have to
Yeah. We would have definitely suffered like broken ribs and lots of bruises.
back.
Oh man, that was fun.
Well, how about you? Do you have one? That was just the first one that came to mind.
So I remember when you were with Dita at the time. Like we were walking in the forest or whatever, and you beat me up.
What?
Yeah, that was a fun, memorable time for me.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember the situation or whatever, but like you were like, "Hey, I'm gonna beat you up," and I'm like, "Okay," and then it happened. So that was fun.
So were we like joking?
I think so.
Jesus Christ.
I don't. Maybe maybe we weren't joking, and that's why I don't remember because I blocked it out because it was just so bad.
Maybe I blocked it out too because I don't even remember the situation. Well, I
Okay.
apologize for retrospect.
Listen, let's go through the whole history of us. We don't apologize
No, still.
for that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, that would be mine. So what qualities do you admire most about me?
Ooh. Probably. What's the word I want to use for this? Your dedication, I guess, is the faithfulness that no matter how hard things get, you don't back down. You're all no matter like if you like you say all the time you live by a code of honor, you live by that code, and you mean that. People think you're being silly because they're like, oh yeah, he's a nerd, he's living by his knight's code, and you're like, no, I take that shit seriously. Like if I said I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I admire.
Yeah, women say the same thing too. Like, oh yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like, well, it's not true. But I think that one of the things I admire most about you is that no matter how bad the situation, you always see the brighter side of it.
Thank you.
And it's like, yeah, I of course I do this too, with joking in the wrong times and stuff, but it's not even just about that. Like the way your brain works, it just you see the light before the light can be shown. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so deep, I can't really put it into words, but that would be the gist of that.
It's called depression. I have to find a way out because if not, it's bad.
Yeah, but like I think even before we got into our hard traumas, early on.
Yeah, it was pretty early.
Yeah, it was there, man. And I like that light that you shine, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I like your light that you shine too. I mean, it's been a long road getting you there, but
Well, I tell you.
That's
that's all you have to do, So would you say that there's any significant milestones or experiences that would have strengthened our friendship? Coming through.
What milestone didn't strengthen our friendship? That's a better question because, like, Jesus Christ, the amount of stuff we've been through. Like,
Um,
that's a tough question because we've been through literally so much.
yeah. Okay, maybe that was a bad question.
Not a bad question. It's just there's so much to that to unpack. If I have to pick one thing without getting too deep into the topic, the road trip that we took spontaneously for your mom.
Oh yeah.
That was a true bonding moment that I think both of us needed, and that I think that was a really big strengthening point for us.
I think so too. Like looking back on that, and we laughed so hard all around that entire mountain because I had no idea where I was going.
And I'm driving this Jeep covered with a skull on my hood, and we're going through this neighborhood, and these old folks are looking at us like, "Why are they circling my house?"
They were.
How many we went all up and down that mountain, man. The waterfalls were gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
The view
I've
was great.
saw those my entire life. Yeah, so most definitely, man. It was the only road trip. Well, not anymore, but
Yeah,
at that time, like in 20 years of friendship, we had never taken
a
an
road trip.
adventure, and I really needed it.
Yeah,
I needed to, go up there and be a part of that nature right there where my mother was spread,
yeah,
and it was just awesome. And you also got to see a part of my childhood that you weren't a part of.
exactly.
So I would definitely say that was a very good choice for a milestone that strengthened our friendship.
The best part I think about it is the fact that it all happened within a day or two. Like we literally just said, "Hey, we're going to do this," and woke up the next day and just did it.
Yep,
There was no planning. There was no. This was in the moment. It had to happen. There was no other choice, and everything else in life had to go on pause. And we just did
that's
it.
right. Because you were supposed to work that day, and you told your boss, "Hey, look, I'm taking tomorrow off. This needs to happen."
Yeah,
And
and
they
luckily,
were so cool.
my boss, who to this day, hands down, one of the most amazing people that's ever been in my life, very thankful for her, was just like, you know what? I understand what you're going through. Take the day. We'll be here when you get back. The store's not going to catch on fire. We're going to be all right when you get back. We're going to be right here. And very wonderful woman.
So this one's kind of funny. It says, "What are some inside jokes or catchphrases that have developed within our group?" And I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
That boy got a big forehead.
Oh.
I win.
Oh my God.
I would definitely
can't
say
even top
that is
that.
an inside joke.
I can't top that one. That's great.
Uh, some catchphrases that we've learned specifically from my dad.
Oh
We're
God.
out of here like a herd of turtles.
Yep.
Just living the dream.
Yep.
Uh, I guess that's it.
Hey, Landon. You got a solid gold belt buckle?
Solid gold belt buckle?
Yeah, my solid gold belt buckle. You don't remember the solid gold belt buckle?
No. The lighter one?
Big Cat.
No.
I had a solid gold cooter for a belt buckle one time.
Oh. Yes, I do remember that.
Oh my
Solid
God.
gold belt buckle? Is it one that had a lighter in it? Because then that one had like pistols or something.
Yeah, that was the one with the little pistols that also was a lighter. That was a cool belt
Yeah,
buckle. I forgot
that
about
was
that.
really cool. Dude, you've had a lot of cool belt buckles.
I did. What about your
Actually,
Slipknot buckle?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you gave me that one.
The Slipknot one?
Yeah.
I think I did actually.
I think
Pretty
you
sure
did.
I did. What about the one I beat that kid up and took?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're right. That never happened.
Hmm. How would you say that we navigate through disagreements or conflicts within our friendship?
Um, we don't really have conflicts. I would say we just argue and laugh while we're arguing, and then at the end of it, we just laugh it off and just never bring it back up because it's not that important. Like
Okay.
the argument is so minuscule, regardless of what it's about, that i- if we just can't come to a conclusion or an agreement, we just don't, and we just move on.
I agree. I do know a lot of the disagreements that we've had
Hmm.
over the years because I don't know why I just hold on to it. Guilt. I don't know. But the thing about it is we get upset for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We hold that anger, and
Yep.
then we're like, you said this is like, I'm definitely not happy with you, but I love you,
Yep.
and we're we're through with this. This is
Yeah,
done. You
exactly.
know, and it's just the communication thing, man. I just wish more people can communicate friendships, relationships, whatever you got going on. Like communication is key in everything that you do.
Yeah. Amen.
And dude,
Hard
we
though. You,
we
that's
are so similar.
we are. That makes it easier though.
Hmm.
But not everybody has 20 plus years of communication to develop or have developed. So everyone says, oh, communication's the key. You got to communicate, but it's hard. So don't think that just because you're having a hard time communicating that there's something wrong. It's not. Communication is difficult. And the longer you're around someone and the more you build whatever type of relationship it is that you're particularly focusing on, the more you understand that person and you understand how to communicate better with that person. So it's better to deal with the inconvenience of an argument or a disagreement in the moment than it is to put it off and wait for everything to boil up and deal with a much bigger. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be hard to communicate, especially at the beginning. But the more times you communicate and the more times you go through those uncomfortable settings, the more you're going to learn how to navigate it when the worst setting comes up. Because then the small ones are just going to be that. They're just going to be small ones.
And that's the thing too, is learning the person.
Yep.
Especially in relationships. Like when you communicate, like Brandon's saying, it's not going to be easy at first, but when you learn, how this person communicates their issues and stuff, and understands issues and things like that, it leads to that better sense of communication because you know how to navigate that disagreement or
Exactly.
conversation altogether. So
And the one thing that I would point out, if you truly love and care about someone, you never intentionally harm them.
true.
If you're intentionally hurting someone's feelings or harming
Mhm.
them, you don't really love that person.
Facts.
And you need to just separate yourself from that because at that point, you're not doing yourself or them any good. But if you and the person that you're in this relationship, friendship, whatever partnership, whatever it is that you're talking about, whatever type of relationship it is, both truly love and care about each other, at the end of the day, the argument and the disagreement is just that because you both truly care about each other.
100%, bro.
So that means you didn't do it intentionally. And if you got to remember that in the back of your head, you didn't, whatever they did that hurt you wasn't intentional if you know that they truly love you. If they didn't say that thing or do that thing intentionally, it was a misunderstanding. And you've got to figure out where that misunderstanding happened and come to a better conclusion of how to resolve it.
Yes, I agree, sir.
And for us, that's just agreeing to disagree. Just saying, you know what? Our friendship's more important than whether this item was blue or red. Doesn't matter. You see red, I see blue. It's fine. Our friendship's more important. We're just going to move on.
It's probably Tavern Purple at that point,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about ways that we support each other's personal and professional growth.
How do we not? I mean, over the years, our lives have both changed so much. And at the end of the day, we've always said, well, if that's what makes you happy, then I support you. I'm standing by you. or we'll be the first ones to criticize each other too. So don't think that that always means being supportive. Sometimes being supportive is constructive criticism. There have been times where you've looked me right in the eye and said, Brandon, it's not a good idea, dude. Don't fucking do that.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
I think too, it's like, even though we don't agree with the choices that we make sometimes, right? It's like, hey, look, bro, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But, I'm here for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And, it's I don't know, man. We're a rare form because we absolutely wholeheartedly support each other. There's now if it's bad enough, we're gonna be like,
bro, don't do that shit.
I'll break your leg. Like I really, when that happens,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I should probably definitely not do that.
I have a question for you, actually.
Yes, this is what I wanted.
Where's Puddles?
Oh.
In both senses of the word, where's Puddles?
Oh no.
Where is your Puddles and where is my Puddles?
Well, your Puddles is in your mask there.
He has a new home.
Home anonymous.
But well, yeah, I'm assuming he's in the oven? In a pie? A roast?
Look, man, I can't make duck fat fries without duck fat.
Or I'll say a quick prayer for Puddles, a little moment of silence. Rest in peace, Puddles. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's the Hunger Games, bro. Like, I'm hungry. Like, give me some duck.
I caught the reference of the Hunger Games, but I didn't put it together with you being hungry. That was solid. Solid joke, sir. And here I'm the one wearing dad joke champion, and you busting out. Yeah.
Well, I caught the shirt and had to make quick work.
I see that.
Yep. Okay. What impact would you say our friendship has had on each other's lives?
The biggest impact? We're talking Younger Dryas impact theory here.
What is that?
Oh, that's a whole nother topic. I'd love to do a whole podcast on that. It's essentially like 11,600 years ago, there was an asteroid that broke apart right above the Earth's atmosphere and created an impact all around the world. And
you killed the dinosaurs.
No. Wiped out our ancient civilization. Because, if you start looking into it, like think of the Sphinx, for example. If you notice the head is much smaller than the body, it's because the Egyptians didn't build the Sphinx, dude. They found it. It was already there. And it had been there for so long, it had eroded and worn away. So they didn't know what was on the face. So they carved the face of a pharaoh into it, which is why it's so much smaller than the body.
Oh.
There was definitely and this is a theory that's becoming much more accepted in mainstream society. It's still shunned by a lot of archaeologists, but that basically that impact wiped out civilizations, and you'll see evidence of a flood, and you'll find a very thin line around 11,006 years ago where there was clearly things that could only be created from a meteorite or from a meteor all over the globe. So we had a much more advanced civilization prior to that, because they say, oh, well, we were hunters and gatherers. Well, why was that the only thing we had around that time? And you're really trying to tell me that hunter-gatherer civilizations created Machu Picchu, the Sphinx? I don't believe any of that, first of all. And right now we have America first and foremost, and then you still have hunter-gatherer civilizations in jungles and islands that have never seen us, that we know exist because we have satellites and drones. True. They don't even know we exist. So what's to say there wasn't a more advanced civilization that lived at the same time as a hunter-gatherer civilization? Because I could go in on this a lot. So a whole nother topic.
Maybe this can be our topic of discussion on next week's podcast.
Potentially. It's a topic I am very passionate about.
Well, then we're definitely going to have to get into it. So would you say there's any unique traditions or rituals that we participate in together?
I mean, we did a blood pact. So that was our first ritual. But
Yeah,
tradition,
it's like
well,
blood magic. It's-
yeah, right. I mean, every year we give my mother a kiss on the cheek. That's something we do every year.
yeah, that's true. Like Christmas time usually, yeah.
Tradition. That's a Christmas tradition. Um, Not something that comes to mind. Can you remember something that my old brain is just not remembering?
Not particularly, because like we don't have something that we do like every year like clockwork. You know, it's
Exactly.
it's we do stuff together when we can, and it's not. I don't know.
Our podcast. That's
Yeah, we
become
do.
ritual and tradition.
Boy, I tell you, it's so funny because when we first started, we didn't know anything that we were doing. We were all so nervous to be here, and now we have a guest form.
Yep.
Okay,
Not
I,
that
I
anybody gets on the show anymore. Like they got to fill out forms. We're selective. Getting on our
like,
show is a privilege.
and I put in actual work for the
Yeah.
podcast,
Yeah.
and dude, I think it's so awesome. I have I don't know. I just somehow became really good at this, and now it's just like I love doing it.
I can tell.
You know. Hmm. Okay, can you share a valuable lesson that our friendship has taught you individually?
Ooh, a valuable lesson.
Yeah, I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead and go first.
Okay, I would say that a valuable lesson that our friendship has taught me is the fact that no matter how bad things get in my personal life, no matter the darkest day and the blackest night, as the Green Lantern would say, there's hope. You're not alone.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times where I have personally felt so alone. Like I'll give the ultimate example. I got super depressed one night. I got um, shit faced drunk,
For lack
and
of a better term, you were
I was ready to leave. I was going to
exit stage right.
exit stage right, and I get this knock on the door, and I'm like, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Like who's knocking on my door? And I open it, and it's Brandon, and he
And I
said,
left
"Hey,
work early.
the universe said you needed me. I'm here," and that saved my life.
And the next day we went on a trip.
That's it. Like,
Yep.
but yeah, I would. That's the valuable lesson, man. Like, the universe speaks in mysterious ways, and it's why I connect so much into, nature and the spirituality. Wow,
Wow. What a
spirituality.
new word.
Spirituality of all things. And just it's magic, bro.
It's funny because I let you go first because I was going to say the same thing. Not that exact incident, but just the fact that no matter where life takes me, count on Landon. There's never been a moment in my life that I couldn't call you up and say, hey, I'm not okay. How many times you have just made that 30, 40-minute drive and shown up just just to sit there with me while I cried.
Mhm.
Just to say, you know what? Get in the shower. When you're done, we're leaving. You know
Mhm.
what? I get out of the shower and you've picked up around my house. You let the dog out and you're like, hey, let's go out and we'll get you lunch. I'll be like, Landon, I'm broke right now. I didn't ask if you had money. You needed to get yourself up off the floor, clean yourself up. Let's get you some food. Let's talk about it. There's never been a time in my life that I couldn't come to you about a problem and know that I wouldn't be judged.
I feel the same way. You know, in a sense, it kind of makes me a little teary eyed.
Yep. How many tears have we shed? What do
We've
we count?
we could probably build a lake house on the lake of tears that we've shed together.
Yep.
But I
It,
mean that's just the thing. We've been, you know, best friends, blood brothers for over 22 years now.
God, Jesus Christ. You're
Yeah,
right.
you know what I'm saying. So it's a fact that we've grown up together, and of course we're men, so we'll never grow up fully. You know,
They say
but
that men act the age forever, the age that they met. So we
that's
still
right.
act like 10-year olds together. It's
I
true.
mean, I act like a 10-year-old without you sometimes. You know what I'm
Yep, pretty much.
saying? So you're with me in spirit on that one there.
Can't
Um,
finger my way out of this one, but I'm sure going to try.
oh man. So how would you say our friendship has evolved and grown over time, since we're on that topic?
With chaos and fire.
Oof.
That's not a bad thing. If there is a song that I really love that says, if you got through this life without a broken heart, you didn't do it right.
That's
So,
wow.
yeah. So just it's not a bad thing for any type of relationship to grow with chaos and fire. It's necessary.
So on that note too, uh let's take you know how to play the guitar, right?
Yep, of course I do.
And I know how to play the guitar.
Looking at two of them. Yes.
I'm looking at one. Uh so how did you learn how to play the guitar?
We taught each other.
We taught each other. Now, how
Literally
did
sat in that garage until my mother came in there and said, "Y'all need to stop," and our fingers were bleeding.
we teach each other when neither one of us knew how to play?
Devin knew how to play guitar, and he came over and was
A
like,
teeny bit?
yeah. Well, when he first got started, that's what
Oh,
kind of And he was like, "I know how to play a little bit of guitar," and he knew like one or two songs, and we were like, "He can play guitars." And then we were like, "We got to learn how to play guitar." And so like once every 2 or 3 weeks, Devin would come by and be like, "Check out the new song I learned," and he might teach us that song. But then that 2 week period, we're in the garage just like until our fingers bled. And I remember that first guitar that we found. That house on the corner of the cul-de-sac, and it was sitting outside in the rain, leaned up against that house,
that's
and it
right.
didn't sound very good. But we put new strings on it, we cleaned it up, and it was a little worse for wear, but it was something. And then, you know, I cut yards, I painted fences. We painted JD's fence, and cut grass around the neighborhood and stuff, all to save up for my first guitar. And I'll never forget that.
Hell yeah, yeah. No, I fully agree with that. I
Fun fact:
remember painting that fence.
I my first guitar was a bass, but I traded it
Yep.
in and got an electric because I just wasn't a bass guy. I did
And
want
my first one was an acoustic, and then I got an electric.
if we don't count the acoustic that we found on the side of the house, but that was kind of the community guitar at that
Yeah,
point.
that wasn't yeah. Okay. Let's get into a very interesting one. Can you share a funny or embarrassing moment that we've both experienced together?
Yeah, yes and no. Should I? Probably not. Am I going to? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. This is when Sean basically lived with me. Shout out to you, Sean. And we were gonna go somewhere. I can't remember what we were gonna do or why we were gonna go, but I the
Is
house I
this the
grew up.
oregano story?
No, that's another. That's a whole other. Um,
Shout out to Sean.
yeah, right. The house I grew up in wasn't the cleanest. My mother worked 3 jobs, so the little bit of time she was home was sleeping, and that's just how life was. Um, so yeah, it fell on me and Joseph to try to clean when we can, and she would clean any chance she got, but it doesn't mean that having 2 boys and a husband that didn't do shit, the house got dirty. It's just how it was.
Yep.
And so I didn't have any clean underwear. And and Sean, being similar in size to me and basically lived at this point, was like, "You can borrow a pair of my boxers." So I'm like, okay, I guess. And at this point, we're like 13 years old, maybe 14, something like that. And so I go in the bathroom and I put these boxers on. They're skin tight. Circulation. I come out of the bathroom. I'm like, these are not going to work. And that was the moment those boxers ripped, and everybody saw my junk flop out.
Oh man.
Those things hurt. Like, in my memory, I can feel the pain of those boxers, how tight they were. And I'm thinking I'm going to get by with these. So whatever it was that we were going or what we were doing, I had to free ball it.
Well, more than likely, we were going up to the Dollar Tree to get 3 liters of Faygo.
3 liters of Faygo.
Yeah, $1.25, or it's like $1.15 or whatever.
Yeah.
That we got a 3 liter of Faygo. Sometimes we'd only get one because we didn't have money because we were broke teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the time, like we would go get 3 of them, one for each of us.
That's right. I'll pick our own flavor and have a bottle of Faygo to sip on all day because, hot South Carolina summers. And if mom works 3 jobs and she's trying to sleep in the middle of the day, because one of those jobs was overnight, we needed to stay out of the house. So we're walking around carrying a 3 liter of Faygo and just running amok and doing what 13-year-olds do.
We were terrorizing that neighborhood.
Oh, my God, we were bad. And we're just the brightest and best kids in the world that we got into no trouble.
Yes, everybody said we were such good boys. And like, and it's like we had alternate egos or something. I don't know. Or we were just so good.
You think I'm a good kid? And I literally just I broke a shovel over this guy's neck yesterday and took his belt buckle. What?
Did you do that?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Do you remember? Shout out to you, Nick Sumes. Do you?
Yes. That's all you had to say.
The cheerleaders?
Yes.
Oh, man. We just all lined up on our skateboards like a parade and rode by the cheerleaders and pulled our pants down and mooned them. And Sumes had an ass fro. That's what we coined it because he had so much hair.
He had a gorilla butt.
That kid was so cool though. And like he had a mohawk that was literally like, it was so tall, like probably, if I'm being realistic, at least this tall. And it was so tall, normal hair glue wouldn't work. So we would lay him down like this and put his head on the table and put wood glue in his head to keep his hair standing up.
Well, let's go ahead and get on to the next question here. What do you think is some shared goals or aspirations for the future?
Well, we want the podcast to grow and be one big thing. Like the podcast has become our little baby, our nest egg that we're trying to grow into a mature dragon to, create its realm and get its horde to sit on. That's
make sure you like, share, and follow all of our videos to help us live our dream.
That's right. I would say that's a very shared common interest, but also to just like to never lose this,
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it, but us, we've made sure that's not happened for 22 years, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. We're going to grow old.
It can't. They say that friendships that last for more than 10 years never die.
Well, there you go. Look at that.
So and my mom and my Aunt Loretta were friends for like 40 something years.
Jesus.
Yeah, it didn't end,
No.
because whatever. But
exactly.
Yeah, our kids call each other uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
So like,
Uncle Landon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, and Ellie talks about you all the time.
Every time I see her, she's like, Uncle Brandon. She'll run to me and give me a hug. I love that girl.
I
wish I could see her a little more, but she's wonderful.
Same.
I love when we get to take them to the park and they get to play. They're 2 peas in a pod, man.
They are. Oh my gosh. And it's so great because we see our personalities come out in them, especially when they're playing. Yep. And it's like, oh, look at that. Proud dad moment. We're just raising them right.
Trying to. It's the hardest part trying to.
So, how would you describe what our? Well, this is the last question, by the way. But how would you describe what our friendship means to you?
I'm going to try to sum that up into a small statement.
Sure.
The never ending story.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yep.
And like that's all you have to say is the never-ending story, and I get it.
Yep.
Well, I'm a man of many words, but our friendship to me means everything.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just we've been through ups and downs, twists and turns. We've been for the good times and the best times, and honestly, life wouldn't be the same without you.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get it because when I say it's a never ending story, it's because it's always another blank page and we're always ready to fill it in.
it's true. And, it's a strong friendship because if we needed one another to jump, we would jump.
Dude,
Like,
I can't count the amount of times that one of us has been in a situation and without even saying a word to the other one, we're able to read each other's mind and fix said situation.
mhm.
Or I could look at you and you would be like, oh, yeah, well, this is boom, done. If I am in the middle of trying to explain something and I have lost my words or I'm in panic mode, you come in and you'll fill in the blanks. Same both ways.
Yep, I would have to agree to that. But for sure.
So, are you going to drop the infamous question on me? Is that going to happen?
Well, it is a podcast, and being host of tonight's podcast, I have my famous final question to ask you, Brandon. What is one question that you wish I would have asked you, and how would you have answered that?
How did you like me being the host tonight? And I would have answered that question. Can I have my seat back? It was actually very fun. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a pretty cool episode, a cool twist, a little spice of life episode, you know? I dig it. It was very good. I'm very proud of you. You put a lot of effort into the episode. And dude,
I mean, I put a lot of effort in every episode, but
yeah, but this one's a little
yeah.
different.
See, I did say it was different.
It was definitely different.
Well, like I said, I wanted to, kind of change things up a little bit, and I think it's a, nice surprise. And, since it's a surprise, it was more fun for you because you literally had no idea what was going on all week long. I haven't told you anything.
Fun? Question mark. I have anxiety. It's fun now that I'm in it, but leading up to it, you gave me anxiety. Did you see it took me like 10 minutes of just kind of sitting here mentally preparing before I could hit the broadcast button?
It was more like 15 minutes, but
Still,
you know.
anxiety.
But anyway, Brandon, thanks for coming on tonight's show. I enjoyed having you. We'll have to have you on the podcast again. Do you have any closing words for our audience?
I do actually. I would like to say I hope everyone out there either has or finds their Landon. I think everybody deserves a friendship like we have. And if you have it, don't let that go. If you have a good friend and maybe you're out there and you guys are having a little tiff right now, make up. If you've got yourself a Brandon or a Landon in your life,
Thank
go
you.
say sorry. Because sometimes the friendship or the partnership or the marriage, the whatever you're dealing with right now in your personal life, just go say sorry. Because sometimes it's not even sometimes, if you love the person in any way, shape, or form, it's important to just let the argument go. It's not that important. There's no reason that you need to be right every time. Do you love them or not?
That is very factual. Well, I don't know I can top that one, Brandon. Uh, it's
You
very
can't.
true.
Yes, sir.
Everything that you say is very true. Okay. Definitely, if you have a Landon or a Brandon, um, definitely hold on to that because we are rare in this world. They don't. There's not a lot of
They
friendships.
don't make them like that anymore.
There's a lot of friendships that don't last anymore, and it all stems from not communicating. And yeah, people are going to shy away from others as you raise your vibrations and your spiritual level is you're going to split off, but um the good friends will never leave. you know uh like we said in the show already, we've gone through hell or high water together.
Yup.
Okay, and I wouldn't change any of it.
No.
It's because we went through that made us who we are today.
Yep.
Okay, and
1,000.
it's all in peace and love and applesauce.
Peace and love and applesauce.
That's it. But
Live
we
like a social bath.
Okay, as the host here, we thank everyone for watching. We did actually have quite a few watching the live stream tonight. We thank
Yeah.
y'all for watching. Um, you know, those who are listening right now, we want to thank you for listening, and we hope that you guys continue to watch and listen. And we want you to like and follow us. Also we have Facebook, every social media platform you can think of. That we should have Twitter, Instagram,
Everything.
LinkedIn, yeah. And we're on every major podcasting platform. So make sure you go check us out. We hope you like our content. We're going to keep creating it, even if you don't like it. So thank you
Yeah.
for listening and trying it out. But there again, man, we love you, mean it. And thanks for stopping by the tavern.